Let's hop into it. This first coin that we're going to look at is a 1934 wheat penny. So the first thing you want to look for with your coin microscopes is a repunched mint mark on the 1934 penny. So you can look for this really on a lot of different coins, repunched mint marks, but here's a couple examples on the 1934. So always be on the lookout for those. It can give your coin a little bit of value. Now here is that coin that has that repunched mint mark. This coin sold for over nearly $440 because of its high grade of a mint state 65 red and an RPM, that repunched mint mark. So this has got that D mint mark that's been repunched like we just looked at in the last photo. So this coin over a $400 penny, and also it's got that red grade, so that's going to give it some more value as well. If you're not familiar with red versus brown pennies and red brown pennies, definitely watch my video on that. I explain it and go more into depth on that. So let's move on to the 1934. Now this one's really cool. Look for doubling on the date. You can actually see the 9 and the 4 doubled there at the bottom of below the date there. So that is really cool. Always be on the lookout for doubling on the front of the coin. Here's an example of that coin that has got that double die obverse. 1934 wheat penny, and this penny sold for over $1,000. Now for the 1934 high grade, this is the no mint mark, and this coin is graded at a mint state 68 red, so that's what gives this coin all of its value. It doesn't have any types of mint errors or anything like that, mistakes on the coin if you want to call it that. This coin sold for over $6,700, $6,000 penny. Now for the 1934 D mint mark, this is graded at a mint state 67 red, and this coin sold for over $7,000 because of that high grade. Now let's check out these other pennies that you should always be on the lookout for in your pocket change or even in coin rolls from the bank. Here's an image of the mintages of the pennies from 1941. You can see there in green. So mintage pretty much means how many they produced, how many they minted. Alright, so in 1941, no mint mark. When it doesn't have the mint mark, that means it's Philadelphia. It was produced in Philadelphia. Now I have a whole video on mint marks. Be sure to go check that out. You can see there to the right of 1941, they produced over 887 million. So they are very, very common coins. But if you look there at 1941D and 1941S, and you look over to the right at their numbers, you can see that they produced a lot less than the Philadelphia minted penny from 1941. But they still produced a lot of these coins. So what's going to make these coins valuable? Well, here's an image of what you want to look for that could possibly make your 1941 worth a lot more than its face value. Now this is an example of a 1941 double die obverse. So there's doubling taking place on the lettering here, you can see in the image displayed. So what you want to do is get a cheap USB coin microscope, and that way you can see your coins up close like this to see if you have any double die errors. Now here's the date, 1941 being doubled, and the doubling on the bottom image there of the 1941 is a little difficult. If you look there to the left of the 1 and the 9, you can really see that doubling taking place there. Now there is a difference between a true double die coin and mechanical doubling. I got a whole video on that as well, so be sure to go through my channel and check that out also. And then here's just one more example of a double die taking place on a 1941 Lincoln penny. Alright, so I'm going to show you a couple differences here because there are some more errors to look for, but real quick, here's a 1941 double die that is at an extra fine 45. So the grading scale goes all the way up to 70. This is at an extra fine of 45. Of course, it's not a mint stated condition coin or anything like that, so keep that in mind. Obviously, if it was a mint stated condition coin, it would sell for a lot more money. However, this coin here sold for over $240. Now here's an even lower graded 1941 Lincoln penny. Now this has a double die obverse as well. However, it's not in the best condition. It only sold for $19. So that really shows you the value and the grading system right there. Let's move on to a very high graded coin. Now this is a 1941 proof penny that is very, very high graded there. So you can see that in the images displayed. Keep in mind, if you guys do find a 1941 penny when you're coin roll hunting or searching through your pocket change, and it's just a regular circulated, beat up, scratched 1941 penny and it doesn't have any types of errors. I still have one more error to show you, but if it doesn't have any types of errors, it's not going to be extremely valuable. it's just going to be worth pretty much its face value. But this 1941 high graded proof coin here sold for over $28,000. Next up is something to look for on the 1941 S. San Francisco minted Lincoln cent. So what this is called, this is a repunched mint mark. For anyone that's new to coin collecting or new here on Couch Collectibles, this is something you want to look for on your mint marks. The mint mark has been repunched, so it'd be an RPM. And you can clearly see that the S has been repunched there in the image displayed. So always be on the lookout for those, because those could give your coins a little bit of value as well. Here's an image of how many they produced in 1956, how many pennies they made in 1956. Well, you got the 1956 no mint mark, which is the Philadelphia minted Lincoln penny, and then you got the 1956 D, which is the Denver minted penny. Now you can see the top one, no mint mark, they produced 420 million of those, and then 1956 D that actually produced over 1 billion. So they are very common coins. They're not rare to come by, but there are certain things to look for that can make those coins valuable. Now here's an example of an RPM taking place on a 1956 Denver minted penny. Now you can see all the different examples in the image displayed here of an RPM taking place. An RPM means a repunched mint mark. So that D mint mark there has been repunched on all those images there. Now here's just a few more examples of the RPM taking place on the D mint mark of the 1956 penny. If we look here on eBay, here is an actual error coin that is pretty cool. I have not seen this before. Now these are pretty hard to come by, but hey, you never know unless you actually are searching through your pennies. This penny has been struck through an object. So when the coin was being produced, you can see there to the right of Lincoln's chin, some kind of object got on top of the coin when the coin was struck. So it was struck through something, and that makes the coin a lot more valuable. You can see that it actually sold on eBay for over $370. So always be looking for strike throughs on any types of coins. Definitely a very simple thing to look for that you wouldn't even have to have a USB microscope to see. Now here's just some more examples of 1956 pennies that sold on eBay. You can pause the video, see the prices there, and basically a lot of them sold because they were high graded coins, and then of course you got that error coin that I just showed you in the middle. Now if we look at this penny here, this is a 1956 Denver minted penny that has an RPM. The repunched mint mark that we just showed you a couple seconds ago, this penny actually has that RPM taking place. Now this penny is at a pretty high grade. It's at a mint state 67, and that's why this penny sold for over $1,200. Keep in mind that if you do find a penny with an RPM and it's not a mint stated coin, or it's a very, very low graded coin all scratched up, it's not going to sell for nearly as high. This one being a high grade, it definitely helps it sell for $1,200. Speaking of high graded coins, here's a 1956 D. This is a high graded coin, mint state 67. And believe it or not, this coin sold for over $7,400. Like I said, if your penny's all nicked up and scratched up, it's obviously not going to sell for that, because they produced millions and millions and even billions of the Denver minted penny for this year. Moving right along, now this is a proof penny, a 1956 proof penny, very high grade, 68, and it's a cameo. Now I have found proof coins in coin rolls, so they're definitely out there. You can definitely find them, but this is a very, 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 very high grade, so that is what gives the coin a lot of value, and this cameo. So this coin sold for over $16,000. Here is the mintages of the 1938 Lincoln wheat penny. Alright, so you see 1938, 1938D, and 1938S. And then to the right of those, you see all the mintages. The 1938 no mint mark, which is the Philadelphia minted coin, they produced over 156 million. But if you look at the Denver mint, they only produced 20 million. And even the San Francisco mint, they only produced 15 million. So the 1938S is a little more sought after as compared to the 1938. So the D and the S, a lot less produced of those. But I'm going to show you the types of errors that you want to look for and what these coins have actually sold for. Alright, so first we're going to look at a 1938 Denver minted Lincoln penny. Now this is what you call an RPM, a repunched mint mark. Now there on the screen are two different examples of an RPM taking place on a 1938 penny. So like I always say, get a cheap coin microscope. That way you guys can view your coins up close like this. Now here's an example of a 1938 that has that RPM repunched mint mark. Now this one isn't extremely valuable or anything. We're going to get more into valuable coins here later in this video. But this penny here sold for over $18. So definitely not a coin that's worth getting graded because it only sold for $18. However, it's still an awesome coin to add to your coin collection. Now if you want to look at a very, very high graded coin, this is it. A 1938 Lincoln penny, Denver minted wheat penny. Now this is at a mint state 68, so almost perfect on the grading scales. The grading scale only goes up from 1 to 70. So a very high graded coin, guys, and that is what makes this coin valuable. This penny sold for over $3,400. Here's an example of some 1938 pennies that sold on eBay. You can see the top middle one there with the black background. That sold for a little over 40 bucks. And then you can see the one in the bottom right there that sold for 40 bucks. So not bad. Those coins are not graded there, so not too bad to sell for 40 bucks. 1 cent into 40 bucks, I'll take it any day. Now next up is a San Francisco minted 1938 penny. Now what you see here is a repunched mint mark, just like the D mint mark we showed you. However, this is taking place on the S mint mark, so 1938 S. Now here is an image of a S mint mark that's actually been repunched twice. So that's very cool. Would love to come across something like this. I haven't found any in my collection, but would love to find one of these. Now here's an example of a 1938 S that has been repunched. Now this particular coin here sold for over $94. And if we look at a lower graded one that isn't in as good as condition, this 1938 RPM repunched mint mark on the S mint mark sold for a little over $30. Now again, high graded coins are very, very expensive, guys. This is the 1938 no mint mark, which means that it was produced in Philadelphia. This penny sold for over $6,000. And then just to show you another one that is a very, very high grade, this is a proof penny. So a 1938 proof penny, and this penny is in absolute incredible condition, and that's why this coin sold for over $11,000. Now keep in mind, if you guys have regular circulated pennies from 1938 and they're all scratched up and dinged up and they don't have any errors or anything like that, they're not going to be high graded coins, so they're really not going to have that much value as comparison to these coins. These coins are valuable because of the errors and the high grades. Alright guys, don't forget to subscribe in the middle, check out the videos to the left of me, and until tomorrow, I will see you all in the comment section below. This is Couch Collectibles, and this is where I disappear.